Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Steve Veggs here with your boy Flickster. This is the first episode of the GB Boys podcast. We're just wrapping up on week one. Who was your surprise performance in week one?
I got a couple of teams here that I had my eyes on that looks like they could be really good throughout the season this year. The one team that comes to mind for me is the 49ers. I think the 49ers look
All right.
solid on offense and defense. I mean, I think they had a good move getting rid of Trey Lance and trading him away, getting a little bit of value out of him and running with Brock Purdy. I think he's the move there. He could be
He was
something
decent.
special.
He was decent. He was decent. I think the team for me that really stood out to me, week one. I think it's more the player himself was Baker Mayfield and the Bucks.
I like that.
Uh, Yeah, I think Baker Mayfield had a lot to prove. I think he came out after last season playing for the Panthers and then finishing with LA. I think he really came out. He had 173 yards, two touchdowns. He didn't throw any interceptions in against Minnesota. I think he played really well with considering all the pressure he's got to come in. Tom Brady just retired, so he's got a lot of big shoes to fill there too. So I think he played really well. I think everybody fed off his energy. And I think Tampa Bay is going to be a team to watch. They still got Mike Evans, and their defense is pretty solid.
Yeah. Yeah, going back to the 49ers on my end. I really like what I saw from both ends. Like I said, Brock Purdy, he had 220 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions. CMC, obviously always dynamic, had 152 yards and also hauling in a touchdown as well. But the big player on that team that I liked was Brandon Aiyuk. He was 8 for 8 on 8 targets, caught them all. 129 yards and 2 touchdowns. He really performed real well as a wide receiver on that team.
Um, I
Um,
mean, yes and no. I mean, the 49ers, you kind of expected them to be decent, um, just because of what they were able to accomplish with Jimmy G. I mean, he's Jimmy G. So in the past, so you knew that they were going to be good, even with Brock Purdy went crazy last year in the playoffs. So you knew they were going to be good. So they weren't really, and it's the Steelers. They're playing the Steelers,
Steelers aren't all
so
that
it
bad
was
though. I think the Steelers have a great defense, even with
yeah.
T.J. Watt
I
having
mean,
3 tackles and 2 forced fumbles.
I just
And
don't think offensively Pittsburgh has enough to make any game this year
that's true. A
competitive.
lot of people
I just don't
hyped
think
up
they're
Kenny
going to be.
Pickett. I didn't see it.
I didn't see it. I didn't
No,
see it. But another team that I thought, I mean, is against the Giants. But Dallas
really good,
was really good
really
last
good.
night. They were really good, and their defense
The best in the league,
is it's outrageous.
absolutely best in the league. I agree
Yeah,
with that.
their defense is gonna be outstanding throughout the year. The only thing that's gonna hold Dallas back at all
Is their
is how
pass game.
good Dak. No, how good is Dak gonna be?
That's what I mean. Their pass game
Yeah,
is
yeah,
definitely their weak spot last night,
yeah. I
for
think
sure.
it's gonna be how good can Dak be? Because he didn't throw.
He didn't use his
He didn't.
weapons. He only
No,
saw
he didn't do.
CD Lamb for 4 targets, man. Like that's a top 5 receiver last year. You got to
He
utilize
was
that.
only he was 13 for 24 without any touchdowns.
That's what I mean.
140 143
He's
yards. So
got weapons.
he didn't really do much. I think Jordan Love deserves some love
Hey, man, Chicago
for what
Bears
he
fan
did.
here. I'm gonna give it to Jordan Love. The kid's got it.
He
He's
balled
something to
out.
look
He
out.
balled out.
Look,
He did ball out. He balled
245
out.
yards with 3 touchdowns.
Yeah. Yeah, he balled out for sure. I was a little surprised on the Chargers not beating Miami. I did pick Miami,
I like the
but
Chargers,
I
but they didn't look
yeah,
that great
yeah.
yesterday.
They didn't. I did pick Miami to win. I think Tua had a great game.
He threw a lot though.
Four, yeah, 466 yards. I mean, he's gonna keep throwing a lot. You got Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. You got all those. You got a lot of weapons.
That's another weapon that I
So
have written down here is Tyreek Hill. 11 for 15, 215 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm gonna say it right now. He's the best wide receiver in the league.
Who who did you see yesterday and throughout the weekend that could be pretty scary to go up in a wild card or just seeing in the playoffs if they make the playoffs? Who could be scary to
I got
where they could cause an upset?
I got one team right here that was watching and they looked really good, even though it was against the Colts. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think they're heading in the right direction. I think Trevor Lawrence it threw a good game, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns. But I like Calvin Ridley. He was out all
Yeah.
last year due to his gambling issues. He was suspended for the whole year. He came back in game 1 with 101 yards and 1 touchdown. He's proven that he's still that guy. I like Calvin Ridley. I like Trevor Lawrence, and I also like the running back Travis Etienne, 104 total yards and a touchdown. I think their offense looks really good.
For me, I think the team that could be fairly scary uh, are the Browns. I think a lot of people forgot about Deshaun Watson.
Agreed.
I think a lot of people wrote him off. He hasn't played in what 2, 3 years, so I think he really came out. He had a decent game, wasn't anything crazy. I think it was more the Bengals just kind of not getting that done.
Yeah, Bengals
Um,
looked weird yesterday.
yeah, Bengals didn't look too good, but I
Mm-mm.
think the Browns, I think they have enough. They got Amari Cooper, who I mean, they basically got him for free. Nick Chubb. I mean, uh, Deshaun Watson he's a mobile quarterback. He's not like a Brock Purdy or somebody like. I'm not trying to compare him to Brock Purdy, but
Yeah, I
I think
think people forget
he's just
who he is, to be honest.
yeah. I think he's not as mobile as Lamar Jackson, but he can be in spurts mobile like that, and he's a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah,
So I think 3 years ago everybody was talking about him as a top 5 quarterback,
easily.
easy,
Hmm.
easily top 5
For sure.
quarterback. So for me, I think that if he gets a rhythm this year and the weapons that they have with Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, their defense is not bad. Defense is decent. I think they're a team to watch for the playoffs.
For sure. For sure.
So out of so your early, we're only in week 1. Who are your early um picks for the AFC? Um, as far as you can go through each division, you can go through the East, North, South. Who are your top teams in each? Just one team from each division that you think will end up being number 1. Just early predictions.
Um, on the NFC side, I think I want to go with Dallas. I think if they get their passing game in the line, their defense has nothing to improve on. To be honest, they are.
You would pick Dallas over the Eagles?
I would. I would take Dallas over the
Really?
Eagles. Absolutely.
Really?
Yes. Considering that the Eagles were struggling a little bit to get the win over the Patriots, I think Dallas has an impeccable defense, and their offense, they have so many weapons, but they just need Dak to be on his game. I mean, you have
I
a
think
great
I
pass
think
option out of the running backs.
I think you need to check your water. I think you need to check what's in your water because I'm not. First of all, Dallas is built to disappoint everybody. That's just what they do. It's Dallas. We know what we're gonna get out of the Eagles. Like we know. We know
Hey,
what we're gonna get. Yeah, we know what we're gonna get out of their quarterback, their coach. I mean, you just don't. The big question, even yesterday, even after a 40-0 win, 40-0 win, what can you say stood out for Dallas other than their defense?
I think their run games is great. I think Tony Pollard is incredible. I think if you see CeeDee Lamb more, we would have saw more out of him yesterday. Only 4 targets for a previous
you're
top
still
5.
going around Dak. Like
Yeah, but you do
Dak
see,
is going to be and he hasn't shown you that he can get it done.
and I think that they are telling us something by signing Trey Lance. And that was a big key right there. I mean, I think that's Dak's chance to either step up or step out. I think if we
Yeah,
don't
but I
see it,
think
uh,
I don't think that makes a difference for them being number one this year. Because I mean, you're asking a quarterback to prove himself over Jalen Hurts, who has proven himself. He's gotten to the big game. He gets you to the big games. He plays well in the big games. I mean, they have an unbelievable receiving corps. AJ Brown on there, Devontae Smith,
incredible. Yes.
incredible, and their defense is better than last year.
I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm going with
Darius
Dallas
Slay,
still.
you got Darius Slay. I'm telling you, they are going to be a problem all year, and I would say Eagles number one for sure,
I'm
no
rocking.
debate.
I'm rocking with Dallas still. Um, Good points, but I'm still with Dallas. I think I think Trey Lance can do it. Look what these young quarterbacks are coming out doing, and when you have options on that offense like Dallas does, if you can't do it there, what are you doing? You know.
I mean,
So
Trey Lance is not going to play. Trey Lance is not going to play. They're going to have Dak all year, and then even then, I think. Do you remember when Dak went down last year and Cooper kind of went crazy?
Cooper Rush, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Look at what an
I think they would.
inexperienced quarterback can do on that offense.
I think they would trust Cooper Rush over Trey Lance, but Cooper Rush is not one. He's not going to get you to a number one seed. Two, he's not going to win you a game in the playoffs. Dak has to be that guy. And if you have a question at your quarterback position, you can have a absolutely god awful team. Look at I mean, it's hard to compare because he's the best player in the league. Mahomes, he had nobody. Well, who did he have? I mean, he was missing Travis Kelsey. He doesn't really have a great receiving core,
No,
and they still only lost by one to the Lions, who are a decent team.
yeah,
So if you have a question at your quarterback, I just don't think that you know. At some point, we got to stop talking about Dallas and just say, "Shut up and show me." I think Dallas usually gets the kind of like, "Oh, they're gonna be good this year. I promise they're gonna be good," and then towards the end of the season, everybody's like disappointed almost.
they were
I
good
think
last year.
that's got to stop. They were good at the beginning of the year.
Defense wins championships. That's all I'm saying, man.
I think the defense, but in today's day and age where offense is so profound, like just with I mean, even Miami, like you can have as great of a defense as you want, but if you have if Tua doesn't get hurt 42 times this year, I think him, Jalen Waddle, and Tyreek Hill is like the new Boston Celtics. Like that is a big three.
It's a big
That's
three.
deep. That's a
That's
big three.
giant.
That's serious.
I think that's
And
the
if two,
best wide receiving duo in the league for sure.
and I think if Tua can do that, like if he can play like that all year, I think if I think they're better than Dallas.
They're on the AFC side though.
Yeah, but I'm saying like as far as even just I don't see team wise, I don't see Miami being better than the Eagles. Just as an overall team,
Yeah,
how well they're gonna.
I don't know. I'm not sold on the Eagles in week one. As of right
I
now, I'm
am.
not sold on the
I,
Eagles.
I am. I think they did well, and the Patriots had a lot of energy
The
coming in
Patriots
there.
were nothing special last year.
They were nothing special, but they had a lot of energy. Tom Brady was there for his celebration. They had a lot of energy there. That crowd was rocking. I don't know if you watched the game. It
I don't
was
think
rocking.
the Patriots don't score 20 on Dallas's defense for sure.
Yeah.
The fact that they could do it against the Eagles. Yes, I'm rolling with Dallas, man. That's my team. You said you were rolling. Was the Eagles your pick?
Yeah, Eagles is by you for sure. My pick.
All right. Hey, I respect it.
Yeah,
Over to the
Eagles is.
AFC side. Who stands out to you on the AFC side?
I'm
Who's
gonna.
who's beating the conference this year?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to go
It's a
against
tough
the
conference.
Chiefs. It's hard to go against the Chiefs. Um, I think. I don't know. I mean, as of right now, it's Monday. Um, the Bills and Jets are still playing. Aaron Rodgers got
He did.
hurt his ankle. Yeah, he hurt his ankle. Not coming back. So, he's coming back throughout the season. He, negative, but we don't know how well he's going to respond to his ankle. Um, so Bills are up 13-3 at the half. So that would have made it. I mean, depending on how much Aaron Rodgers is out, I think the AFC East will be tough between the uh, Bills, Dolphins, and Jets. That's going to be a tough um, pick there, but I'm gonna have to go with. I think the Bengals get it done this year.
You think so? After their
I
week
think,
one performance, you think
yeah,
they're gonna
I
turn
think they
this
get it
around?
done. I think they get it done this year. I think they do get it done this year. I think Jamar Chase wants to get paid. I think
Shouldn't be hard. He's one of the best in the league for sure.
I know. Yeah, I think he wants to get paid though. So he's going to get paid, but he's got that kind of fire where I think he'd be able to do better than last year if that makes sense, if that's even possible.
We'll
But
see if they have the money. I mean, they just paid Joe an immense amount.
and he didn't show up, but
Yeah,
I think he will show up. He's always shown up.
Joe's good. He's that guy.
So I think the one question with the Bengals has always been their O line,
Oh, for sure. Weak.
and he got sacked twice yesterday. So it looks like that hasn't changed, but
It didn't stop him the
hopefully,
last 2 years.
y- yeah, hopefully they'll be able to get over the hump this year. I think they will. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I think they get it done. I think it was close last year against the Chiefs. So uh, I mean, if it wasn't for Patrick Mahomes, basically willing them to a win against them last year, I think we would have been talking about the Bengals as the Super Bowl champs, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's coming. It's soon. It'll happen.
Yeah. Who's your AFC pick for
I think you said
early
it.
predictions?
You
Early
said it
predictions.
already. You know me. I ride with my boy Mahomes, the Chiefs. That's a team I've always been a fan of. Not my team, but man, I always loved the Chiefs. I always liked Mahomes. I think with Travis Kelce, obviously, that they get it done. I don't think that's all he needs, though. I everyone says that he may need Travis Kelce to be that guy, and I don't think that's true. I think Patrick Mahomes got the talent to do it with anybody. I think you know we saw Tony. I mean, he Kadarius Tony dropped 4 passes, big passes in that game that could have led them to a win. And Chris Jones just them agreeing on a deal. So I think they got their defensive end back with that guy. I think the Chiefs are gonna look up from this week on. So I'm rocking with the Chiefs. Always have faith in them. Love the Chiefs. Love Patrick Mahomes.
I just don't think they have enough this year. Um,
He doesn't need it.
they just don't have anybody on their receiving. Who, I mean, who do they have?
Who did he have last year? Juju
I mean,
Smith-Schuster was his receiver. Uh,
he was a little bit better than what he had last night. Name me one receiver that he had on Thursday that is better than Juju Smith.
Um, I mean, Juju's not all that great. I wouldn't say
I just don't.
better, but
I
I
just
think on a good day, Valdez Scandling.
no.
I
Don't
wouldn't say he's better, but I think
don't
that's a
do that.
weapon
I think
that
he's
he sees.
a weapon sometime. I mean, all receivers are weapons. I don't think he's gonna be. I just don't think he has enough,
And I
and
think
I
we
don't think.
saw the bad part of Kadarius Toney, but I think Kadarius Toney has got a lot of potential, especially
I
with
mean, he did.
Mahomes.
He was a lot of the big reason why they won the Super Bowl
He
last
was a
year. I
big
mean,
guy that he looked to last year. And
yeah,
even
he
Patrick
was.
Mahomes said in an interview that um, he was going through some things that he had to miss a lot of training camps. So that's a reason he could have the off game. I know he's just protecting his teammate, but he told him he says the guy I'm gonna be looking for this year a lot. So I think it's gonna look up for them too as well. And then Travis Kelce coming back. That duo is just unmatched. One of the best we've ever seen in a long time. So
Uh, I just don't think they're gonna have enough to get it done. I think it's gonna come down to them and the Bengals again. I mean, honestly, it might end up being Miami. I think Miami and the Bengals are gonna be the ones that battle out to go to the Super Bowl.
hey, we'll see. I'm still riding with
Uh,
the Chiefs, man.
yeah, I think I'll go with I'm gonna stick with the Bengals. Who was your biggest? I mean, obviously Buffalo and New York Monday, so they're still playing. Who's your biggest disappointment in Week 1?
My biggest disappointment, like a team or a player,
You can go
elaborate.
team.
To be honest, I expected more out of the Seahawks. With the
Really?
run they had last year, um, they didn't do so hot against the Rams. They lost 30-13. Gino didn't
Yeah,
look like Gino.
yeah. Gino looked really good last year, so I was kind of
Really good
expecting.
last year compared to this year.
I was
DK
expecting
didn't
him to
look as
come in a little.
look that great this year. So far, it's just week one, but he didn't look so good the other day. Um, but yeah, I just expected more out of the Seahawks with their run that they had last year, and to see them just take this big step backwards is just odd to me.
I would have to say my biggest disappointment, um, out of everybody was the Broncos. Um, they lost to a Jimmy G led Raiders team who, I mean, they still have Devonte Adams. He didn't score yesterday, but uh, yeah, he didn't score yesterday. Uh, and they don't really have many weapons outside of that. But Jimmy G's he's gonna win you some games. But I think against one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league and a guy who gets a lot of hype. I mean, he didn't have a bad game, Russell Wilson. Um,
He just didn't have a Russell Wilson game. You know what I mean?
I mean, he had a decent game. I
Like
mean,
how we used to
27
see.
for 34, 177 yards, 2 touchdowns. I mean, he did get sacked twice. Um, I mean, they have a decent receiving core, nothing crazy. But I just think with the addition of Sean Payton, um, I was kind of expecting a more explosive offense, I would say. Um, and it just didn't look good. And the problem I have right now is I saw Russell Wilson's confidence leave him last year. Um,
Mm-hmm.
just by all his tweets and how he does suicides on the plane and all that. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all.
Broncos
I
country, let's
mean,
ride.
yeah, let's ride. I don't,
To
I don't think, yeah, let's ride to the, let's ride
the
to
bottom of the
vacation because that's,
division.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's ride to the Cancun because that's where he's going. I mean, he's just, I I don't see, I don't see it getting any better for them this season. I mean, in Sean Payton, I trust for them,
And he's
but
got weapons, like you said. Cortland
he's got
Sutton's a
weapons.
stud, man. I don't know why he doesn't use them
Yeah,
more.
yeah, he's got weapons, but I think Pete Carroll really protected Russell Wilson a lot. And I think he's starting to miss it. Um, I mean, he definitely missed it last year, but I think this year he is. Um, I think he's my most disappointing player, and the Broncos are my most disappointing team because they spent a ton of money.
He did. Because what he
They
was before he went to the Broncos was really good. Like, he was a good ass quarterback, man. Like, people forget what Russell Wilson was, but I mean, this is the reason why. And I want him to be good so bad, but because he's got it in him, you know? I mean, he's one of the players that, I don't know if you know, spends a lot of money on like his health and what he eats and how he trains. He's not stupid. He's not he doesn't he's not lazy. I just don't know what it is that he's not that guy he used to be.
he's not him anymore,
No.
and he's not at all. He's not an old quarterback by any
No.
means. He's 30. He's 34.
34.
So he's not an old quarterback. I just don't. I mean, he had a decent game, 177 yards. I mean, you're Russell Wilson. You got. I mean, you just have to be better,
You
and you
do.
gotta. You have to. I mean, you cannot get outplayed by Jimmy G. And Jimmy G had an interception yesterday, but he was 20 for 26. I mean, he was pretty efficient the whole night.
Hmm.
200 yards. Um, and he didn't get sacked at all. And I mean, again, he's got Devontae Adams, but Devontae Adams was, I mean,
It
he,
wasn't even the guy he looked for yesterday as much.
I mean, he got
Jacoby
targeted nine
Myers was
times.
the guy.
Yeah, he got. I mean, the good thing, what I like about Jimmy G is he doesn't fall in love. So um, he kind of splits between. So I mean, Meyer had 10 targets. Devontae Adams had nine.
Yeah.
So it's not like he fell in love with one or the other. I mean,
And there's a
Meyer was
big
making
difference as well. Like,
Meyer was just making the bigger plays yesterday. So he had the two touchdowns that Jimmy threw. But I mean, once him and Devontae kind of connect, I'm sure that Devontae is going to be the one to get more of the targets. Trust me.
I promise
I
you.
think I think Devontae. I think that's kind of what threw Devontae off. To be honest with you, yesterday was
Yeah.
that he you got your last year you had your boy Derek Carr,
Right.
which we're gonna get to him in a second, and you had your boy Derek Carr, and are obviously you're targeted um, most of the time because he is your boy. You guys have a certain chemistry, so he's gonna have to build that chemistry with Jimmy G, and that's gonna take some time. And I don't think he's got much time with the Raiders. I just think he's kind of like the ugly duck, but in a different way. I think he's too good to be on that team, if that
I
makes sense.
Yeah, I think a lot of the reason he's there it was because of Derek Carr because they had their experiences in college, they had that connection. I think
Yeah.
a lot of the reason that he came there was because of Derek Carr. Now that he's not there, like you said, I think he's out of place. He's
Yeah, and I mean, you couldn't keep Derek Carr there. I mean, it just wasn't.
didn't work anymore.
It didn't work anymore. And I thought Derek Carr was because he's kind of like the. I wouldn't compare him to Jimmy G, but Derek Carr can win you some games.
Yeah.
I think he can win you some games, and I think he doesn't show up when the lights are the brightest. And I was expecting him to come out. He's new environment. Um, being able to play in New Orleans, I thought he was going to come out yesterday and really, really put the league on notice. Like I was, I'm Derek Carr, and he didn't.
Mm-mm.
They won by one against a Tennessee Titans team who I mean, they have Derrick Henry, and D Hop. I mean, they got a lot of weapons. Um, but their quarterback is Ryan Tannehill,
Right.
and nothing personal against Ryan Tannehill, but it's
I
Tannehill.
mean,
It's Ryan
what else
Tannehill,
can you
and you're
say?
and you're supposed to be. I mean, he didn't throw any touchdowns
3
yesterday.
interceptions.
3 interceptions.
Yeah.
He got sacked 3 times. So their O line is gonna suck. D Hop. I mean, I don't know why he chose to go there. I mean, maybe the money.
Money. I'm sure.
Um, but he doesn't really want to be there. I don't think. He
He
chose
doesn't
there for the
seem like
money.
he wants to go. Like, you know what I mean? The teams that
Yeah,
he's been choosing to go to doesn't seem like he wants to win. You know what I mean?
I
Because
would have liked to see him on the Jets.
he's good. He's really good.
He's
Like
really good.
when he had Deshaun Watson throwing to him, good quarterback, good. It was incredible what he was doing out there. Ever since then, like you said, like he doesn't want to win. Like that's what it seems like. It seems like he doesn't want to win. Like from the going to the Cardinals, that was a weird move to me too. You know what I mean? When he went there and
Yeah,
then
I
went to
think the Cardinals had a
Tennessee.
lot of potential though. I think the Cardinals had a lot of potential. Kyler Murray wasn't. I mean, he just got paid last year, so he wasn't supposed to be. I mean, he wasn't supposed to be bad by any. And let's not act like the Cardinals didn't have a lot of injuries last year.
Right.
They did have a lot of injuries, and then when they did pick up D Hop, I mean, they had J.J. Watt. Um, so they had a lot of pieces uh, when they first got D Hop. But the move to the Titans was weird to me.
It's
But
very weird.
even then, I mean, they didn't score. I mean, they they didn't play well at all. I mean, they
No.
didn't they didn't play well at all. I mean, they scored 15 points and none of it was from their offense. I
No.
mean, none of it. So for the Saints to only beat them by one, and for Derek Carr, I mean, granted he got sacked 4 times. Um, that's something to watch for them. Um, and he doesn't really have a receiving core. I mean,
I
your
think
receiving core is who? Taysom Hill, who's supposed to be a quarterback. I mean,
quarterback, tight end, running back. What is he?
yeah,
He's just.
yeah,
What position do I play? Yes.
yes, yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. I think he's literally all over. But they just don't have a good receiving core. And um, Derek Carr's never been really that mobile to me. So
mm-mm.
I mean, I just don't I just don't see him. I think this is his last chance. To be honest with you,
It is.
with New Orleans, I think he's gonna. I don't know where else he would go after this.
I mean, it's not like wanted many plays. I mean, he said when he left the Raiders he was going to retire, and that obviously wasn't the case. I mean, they called him on his bluff because he obviously didn't retire as a Raider. And yeah, like you said, I think he just has a lot to. I just think he has a lot to
He has a lot to
prove
prove.
this year, and if it's not this year, it's never.
Who has more to prove, him or Dak?
That's a good one. That's a good question. I think they both definitely have a lot to prove, but State and Dak's condition. I mean, he was injured last year, and he had a nasty injury. Um, so it's kind of different from him this year having something to prove over Derek Carr. You know what I mean? Who didn't have a massive injury like that. Almost want to say Derek Carr. Um,
More to prove than Dak?
more proof than Dak, but I think Dak still has a lot to prove too.
Yeah, I'm
Uh,
gonna go. I'm gonna go with Dak
I
for
think
sure.
Dak
I mean,
is weighing on that side for sure.
yeah, I'm gonna go with Dak. I think. I think Derek Carr's pretty much on his way out.
Yeah.
I don't. I mean, these quarterbacks are coming. unreal. Not to mention who's coming in next year, who we're
We
gonna
don't
get
even
to.
know yet.
Who,
And
I mean, we do know, we do know. Caleb Williams,
for
right?
USC,
Yeah, USC. I mean, I just think the talent that is coming in next year is gonna be unbelievable, and I think it's just gonna be a lot of these quarterbacks are gonna be out of the league next year, in my opinion. I think there's gonna be a lot of them that are just not gonna be playing next year.
and
I
especially a
think
lot of these quarterbacks that are still in the league now, they're still in their rookie contracts, you know. So, like this team that they're on could be a team that they won't even play for, you know, come down the way. Like Bryce Young and these young quarterbacks, they're coming out of college just on another level. It's insane. I mean, back in the day, remember where you used to have to sit behind one of the longer quarterbacks, you know, kind of learn the game before you come in. I mean, these kids are coming out of colleges and they're starting week
they're getting
one.
opportunities. Yeah, they're getting
You
opportunities
know,
pretty quick now.
Anthony Richardson did great too for the Colts. I mean, these young quarterbacks are just crazy. Like, what are they feeding these kids nowadays, man? Like, I mean, they're just crazy.
I think one quarterback on their who's on the clock. It's sad to say, but Matthew Stafford. I think he's kind of um he's a champ, but I think there was a report that came out he's having some trouble connecting with his young teammates. I just don't I just don't see that. I don't see trouble connecting with teammates at all. I mean, but from the basketball side, I mean, LeBron's had all kinds of teammates as far as ages, and eh, he's that's one thing you can give LeBron is he's great at making sure his teams have chemistry. And I think no matter the age, so I mean it's a little different in football, but Matthew Stafford, I mean, he's the leader. Obviously you don't have
Cooper Cup.
yeah, you don't have Cooper Cup obviously, but I mean he's got to be able to. He's a Super Bowl champ, so I mean he's got to be able to be better than what he was yesterday at least against the Seahawks.
I don't think he did that bad. I mean, like you said, he didn't have those connections for the touchdowns, but I mean, he still threw 300 plus yards. I mean, and he was getting to some people that, like you said, he doesn't have a big receiver on that
He
night,
doesn't
and
have
he
any great.
still he still made it work.
I mean, he's got Puka. He's a young guy, one of those young guys I was just talking about. He targeted him 15 times. And then he's got a 23-year-old wide receiver, Tutu. Um, I mean, you just their whole their tight end is, I mean, Tyler Higbee. I mean, I mean they don't have a lot, but I don't know. I just think after last year, I mean, the report came out he was hurt, but I just think the Rams were really
The
disappointing last
injuries
year.
really got the best of them last year. Injuries is what
Yeah,
ruined that team.
yeah, I think we have Cooper Cup. We have one good year of Cooper Cup, and they won. I mean, they won that year. I
Right.
mean, I don't think many players have had as good a season as Cooper Cup had when they won the chip. So we'll the the verdict is still out on them on the Rams, but I think um, just kind of going through all the games. I mean, I think it was a pretty lackluster week one. I think there was a couple good performances, um, but I don't think it was a very exciting week one for me. Um, I'm kind of excited to see, week two. We got Vikings, Eagles. Um, I think we're gonna have the Jaguars, Chiefs. That's gonna be a good game. Um, Raiders, Bills, maybe. That might be a decent game. Um, Depending on Jimmy G's got a lot of weapons over there, so and he can win you games in the regular season. He's gonna be able to win games. That's gonna be a game. Ravens Bengals is gonna be a serious game that I'm gonna look out for next week. I mean, I'm excited for that over week one. I mean, I think that game is already a better game than any game we just saw this week.
Yeah, week two's
Um,
looking good for
yeah,
sure.
week two looks great,
I
and
also
I
like
think
the Kansas City and Jacksonville. I think that's going to be a good matchup between those two teams.
yeah, I think that's gonna be good, especially with Chris Jones coming back.
Those are two
Um,
teams that could definitely meet in the playoffs later down the road.
yeah, and Travis Kelsey, I mean, he's still questionable, um, so he could come back, but I mean, week two looks really good. Jets Cowboys, if Aaron Rodgers can get that ankle healthy this week, hopefully it's nothing serious. The X-rays came back negative, so hopefully it's just you know
Minor
a
sprain.
low grade sprain that he can just tape it up, get some Toradol on there, and play. Because they're gonna need him. I mean, Zach Wilson. They're better off having me and you out there as their
Yeah.
quarterbacks.
It's-
I don't think. I don't think they're good, especially against the Cowboys defense. I mean, Cowboys defense, and you throw Zach Wilson out there, he's just gonna look like
They're gonna eat
a
him up.
puppy.
They're
He's gonna look
gonna,
like a puppy amongst bulldogs. I mean,
yeah,
he's just gonna be. They absolutely destroy him. I
they
mean,
will.
Micah Parsons is gonna have Zach Wilson for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. He's going to get eaten alive. Um, and those are really the only games. But I think just in those games, Ravens, Bengals, Jets, Cowboys, maybe, um, depending on Aaron Rodgers. I mean, 49ers, Rams.
I was just gonna mention that 49ers or Rams. That's gonna be a good test. Going back to that Matthew Stafford argument there, that's a good defense that he'll be going up against.
Yeah, it's
So
a
and he still won't
very
have
good defense.
Coop. Coop's out for at least I think 4 weeks. So that'll be a
And
good test to see if Matthew Stafford still has it.
nowadays, you need every win you can get because teams are talent. I mean, just on talent alone, I mean, any team can go off and get you one, except for the Bears. I mean, any team can get any
Oh
team,
man.
any team can get you one, and like I say, except for the Bears, they might not be able to get one all year, but I think I think
Man.
it's gonna be yeah.
I
I
think I
think it's gonna
projected
be
them for 8.
eight wins.
8
I think
wins.
you were being generous.
Um, hey man, I was being a little generous on that.
I mean, they got Tampa Bay next. I mean, I'll pick Tampa Bay. I mean,
I'm taking
if
Tampa Bay
Baker
as
has
well.
this, yeah, if Baker has the same week he had this week, I think he's gonna. I think the Bucks are gonna come out 2-0. Then you got the Chiefs after that. I mean,
It's not
they
looking
might
bright.
as well not even. They might as well not even go to that game. Like, if I was Chicago, I would just stay in Chicago. It's at Chiefs, so
Yeah, it's
I would
gonna
just
be a
not
mess.
show up. I mean, plane didn't show up or something like that. Then you got the Broncos. I mean,
We,
as bad as the Broncos are, I mean, yeah, I
I
don't
mean, we're
think they
pretty
beat the
bad.
Broncos.
So,
The Commanders. I mean,
yeah, I don't know if you saw what I shared on Twitter. Um, it was the two arm meme locking together, and it was Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, and it said owning the Chicago Bears. And
I mean,
I said, here we go again. Like it's gonna Jordan Love's gonna be the new Aaron Rodgers to Chicago. It's
I'm just trying to find a team right now. Like, uh, week five, they have the Commanders. I I mean, I can see the Commanders
maybe.
winning that game. I mean,
Eh,
maybe if it is, it's a close one. It's a close one. Vikings, that's a loss. Raiders, that's a loss. Chargers, that's a loss. Saints, I mean,
we got a tough schedule.
yeah, you got a tough
We
schedule.
didn't deserve this
Panthers,
schedule, man.
yeah, Panthers. You got the Panthers week 10. I mean, maybe you might get one there. I mean, right now you got a maybe against the Commanders and the Panthers. So that's 2 wins. I mean, you got the Lions, uh, who the Lions look decent. Week 12, you got the Vikings. Um, week 13 you have a bye, which
Hey,
is what they're gonna
that's
be
what we're
saying
looking
to
up
all the
for.
other teams. Yeah,
We don't lose
that's
that
on.
week.
Yeah, they don't lose that week. I think the bye week is that's what they're gonna be saying to all other teams making the playoffs bye. Um, then you got the Lions again, Browns. That's a loss. I mean Cardinals, depending on Kyler Murray. Falcons, maybe. Um, I'll take go pack go. But I mean that's your team schedule. That's how it's looking.
It's rough.
Yeah, that's gotta be for all bad teams. I think that's the worst um out of any team. And then I'm a Vikings fan, so we lost yesterday to the Bucks. I mean this one's not that much better than yours. I mean we got the Eagles week 2.
Yeah, but the thing about the Vikings is that the Vikings are a competitor in the NFC for sure.
They're definitely a
The
competitor.
Bears are not.
But they have to. I mean the Eagles. I mean that's a top 3 team in the entire league. Um, Chargers. I mean Chargers are kind of hit and miss. Um,
They are.
Panthers,
On paper,
yeah,
they're
they are gonna.
so good, but
Yeah, they're hit and miss. They're hit and miss.
yeah,
Uh, Panthers, I, I'll give the Vikings the Panthers, but I mean that would already put them at 1-3.
they could surprise. You got
I mean,
Jettas. He's crazy. A
yeah,
lot of
but then you got.
potential in your rookie receiver.
I mean, week 5 you got the Chiefs. I mean that can put you at 1-4. You got the Bears, so you definite 2-4. You got the 49ers, which I'll take 49ers. I mean, I'll take the Vikings over the Packers and the Falcons week 8 and 9, and the Saints. Um, you got the Broncos week 11. I think the Broncos at some point are gonna have to wake up, um, because they spend too much money. They have a really really good coach in Sean Payton. I don't think they can afford to be bad. So I think they lose that against the Broncos at week 11. I think by week 11 the Broncos will have it figured out. Bears again, week 12. I think that's self-explanatory. Uh, week 13 bye, which I mean for the Vikings, 2 weeks of buys in a row with the Bears and every other bye. I mean that'll be nice. 2 buys in a row,
Yeah.
and then Raiders. They beat the Raiders. They don't beat the Bengals. They got the Lions twice before the season's over, and then the Packers again. I think they beat the Packers, but I think they lose one of them. One's at Detroit and one's uh, at Minnesota. So I think they win the one at Minnesota. So, I mean, I think my team comes out maybe 10 wins this year. Um, That'll put them at what 10-7. Just not great. Better than the Bears. Two
Hey.
and 82 and 85. They're like the Hornets. They're like the
Oh my.
Charlotte Hornets of the NFL. They're like the Charlotte Hornets
It's
of the
rough for
NFL.
sure.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. No, they're the Bobcats. They're the
Uh,
Bobcats of the NFL.
when I post on I post on my socials, my videos and stuff like that, and I got the Bears stuff in the room, man. Oh my gosh, it's brutal in the comments for me.
Yeah, it's brutal.
For sure.
So any um any early predictions for week 2 on who you think is gonna be uh top performer? Who's gonna stand out next week and really show out?
Um, with the matchup that they're given, going back to the Chargers, I mean they face Tennessee. I'm hoping that we see a good side of this Chargers offense. I mean, on paper, both offensive and defensively, the Chargers are stacked on paper. There's no reason that they shouldn't get it done. I mean, Justin Herbert, Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen. Um, Defensive, you got two of the best pass rushers in the game, Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack. It's There's no reason this team it should not be good. So I'm hoping the Chargers can show us what they're worth against the Titans. Another good matchup. I don't know if there'll be any team that stands out more in it, but it's going to be a good game. Baltimore and Cincinnati. It's a good rivalry game.
Yeah, we talked about that one a little earlier. I think that's a big game. I think that's my biggest game.
That's going to decide a lot of things right there.
That's the biggest game of week 2 for sure.
Yeah.
I think Lamar getting paid. I think he's got, just because he got paid, I think he's got a lot to prove this year. I think he's like the Anthony Davis of the NFL.
Made of glass.
He's always hurt. I mean, granted, he's never really had the weapons that he has now on the receiving side of it. I mean, Odell just got hurt again. I mean, you sneeze on Odell and he's out for the next 3 years. So, I mean, I don't
4 to
know.
6 weeks.
Yeah, so I mean, they're just assembling the Baltimore nursing homes. I think that's what they're coming out as. I mean, the Weenie Hut General. That's what I would say about the
Super Weenie Hut General.
Yeah, that's what I would say about Baltimore, and I think it's gonna be a good game though. But I'm gonna say Joe Burrow. I'm gonna say Joe Burr. I think he comes out next week and I mean, he's got that pressure. He just got paid. Kind of going through the motions. Uh, I think next week he's really, and it's a primetime game. I mean, I think he's gonna ball out next.
I like it. I mean, he's got weapons. There's no reason he shouldn't. The only thing, offensive line, but Joe's made it work before, so he's definitely gonna return back to his old self. I don't see a doubt in that.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you joining us on our first episode of the podcast. Hit us up on all our socials. Flick is gonna let you know what our socials are right now. Um, show some love. Thanks for hanging out with us, and I can't wait to talk more on week 2.
Thanks for stopping by the podcast, guys. This is a journey that we definitely have wanted to do for a while. Excited to actually launch this. Hopefully, you guys can join us along the way. Check out our socials on the link in the description down below. Follow us on Twitter. Every week we put out our picks. We're also keeping records of who's going to have the most picks. So if you are interested in that, follow us on Twitter. And I think that's all we have. And we will catch you guys in the next one.